I remember leaving school about 11 years ago and thinking by the time I hit my late 20s, I'm gonna be hot shit, brother. I'd have no more anxiety, no insecurities, a good social circle, shit. I might even be a fucking husband and father for all I know, right? And oh, I'm rich, yeah, and rich too. Now, would I still be at my shitty job? Would I still be single and broke? Absolutely impossible, bro, not a chance. And yet, here I am. I think it stemmed from the fact that I always had this really bad trait of thinking I have so much time, right? I've got all day for chores, so I won't bother with them. I've got all year to get my grades up, and I've got all life to sort my career out, so what's the rush, man? All that led to was unwashed laundry, bad grades, and no career. So now I'm 30, goalless, aimless, maidenless, you name it, bro. I'm literally all the lusses. So what did I actually accomplish then? In those 10 years, what did I accomplish? Well, basically nothing, really. I mean, 80% of my time just went to developing 3 very strong habits which basically conquered the entirety of my 20s. The holy trifecta of my 20s, I should say. Weed, gaming, and YouTube. I got in some bad ruts with weed, bro. At first, it was fun, right? It was social and it was chill and it amplified what I was doing at the time, you know? So if I'm playing a game or if I'm watching some videos or something, then it's great because it just amplifies what I'm doing and it's fantastic. But then over the years, as I got into like my early to mid 20s, it started getting a lot worse, right? I would literally show up to like house parties stoned as fuck. I'd just be the guy that kind of sits in the corner, just like blitzed out my mind and shit, right? And then eventually I'd start smoking at home. This is when I like started to hate it and stuff. I'm spending like £200, so like $300 or $400 on it every single month. And then in the last 2 to 3 years of my smoking, I just remember like every day that I would smoke, I would just get more paranoid, more anxious, and I would just start hating it more and more every single time. Now, luckily for me, I guess you can say luckily, well, it got so expensive after COVID, like all the bills and stuff, that it got to a point where I just genuinely couldn't really afford it anymore. So I had a family holiday, I took a break for that 1 or 2 weeks, and I just never looked back after that. So in that regard, I'm actually pretty happy for the bad luck. Blessing in disguise, am I right? And the second addiction was gaming. Gaming, I got hooked very, very young. Literally when I was like 3 years old or something, right? But I fucking love gaming, bro. I can't lie to you. But I got even more heavily addicted to it after school. League of Legends was my worst point. If you've been following the channel, I'm sure you know this already. But in about 6 months, I think I logged about 700 hours of sheer game time just playing ranked. And I got to like the top 0.5% of players, and I was like, whoa, what an achievement, bro. I'm so fucking good at this game, right? But like, what did I actually gain? What did I have to show for it by the end of it, right? Well, I had 3 or 4 accounts permanently suspended for being an angry little man. I would just be typing storms to these other players on my team, just like flaming the fuck out of them and everything, right? I got a little bit of praise from my friends, a little, wow, bro, congrats and stuff. I got a banner on an account that I can't even use anymore. And most importantly, I'd say I got a fleeting sense of accomplishment for about 10 minutes, which faded immediately as soon as I got the rank. So overall, yeah, pretty successful era, I must say. And the third addiction was probably the biggest one of them all, right? YouTube. I started that super young as well, and I'd literally be like 10, 11 years old just watching these YouTubers in awe, bro. I'd be like, whoa, man, that's so cool. One day I'm going to grow up and be a YouTuber and play video games for a living and be rich and popular and stuff, right? And then before I know it, in like my early to mid-20s, YouTube is taking up all of my free time where I'm not like playing a game or doing something else, right? And the worst part is I'm not even watching anything remotely productive anymore. I'm watching the biggest load of bullshit ever, like all these cringe drama threads with all these streamers and stuff like XQC Hassan, H3H3 iDubbbz, fucking Pokemon cookies. Just even thinking about it, so cringe, bro. I honestly can't even believe how much time I was giving to these fucking streamers and people that I genuinely don't even care about, bro. But I started realizing in my mid-20s the reason why it was so hooking for me was because I could live vicariously through these streamers, right? In a sense, without even realizing it, I could kind of just pretend I was them, right? And that way, I achieved my dream that I wanted when I was a kid, you know? I scratch the itch of being like a successful streamer because realistically, that's what the internet and technology kind of does for us these days. Like, we get addicted to gaming because it gives us a sense of progression and achievement, right? We like watching streamers because it's like socializing and community and stuff like that. And we even get addicted to things like the hub and, you know, like porn and shit because that gives us romantic interest as well. So we're scratching all the itches that our brain desires. I say this all the time, right? The virtual world is becoming more appealing than the real one. So you can't blame people for getting addicted. Like, it's natural. It's been designed for this to happen. Like, so at the end of the day, what did I accomplish in these last 10 years? Well, I mean, what do you think? Do any of those things sound like accomplishments to you? Am I rich? Do people depend on me? Like, did I achieve any dreams? Am I where I want to be in life? All that sort of stuff. No, I'm not. But does that really mean I accomplished nothing? Because I've held down bills for over a decade. I've got great groups of friends that I talk to. I've been on banger holidays. I've met people that I got on really well with. I've held down my job with no problems this whole time. I saved up to buy a killer PC setup, which is fucking sick, by the way. I've had multiple self-improvement journeys. Yeah, I'll be a little bit short-lived, but I fucking did something. My binging of anime led me to fucking study Japanese at some point. I've channeled my YouTube addiction to consume productive content because it led me into watching fucking self-improvement stuff, which got me here in the first place. I've channeled my gaming addiction to learn that you can actually level up in real life as well, believe it or not. Meditation, communication skills, gym, and even my weed addiction, which you could look at as ultimately bad, like objectively bad. There was no good to it towards the end. It taught me that no matter how good something is, overconsumption is always going to ruin it. So you need to have levels on your passions. My point here is just because we don't meet our own standards of what greatness or accomplishment might be, it's easy to convince ourselves that we're failing or slacking off because we didn't achieve this big goal that we had in mind, right? We don't realize that with all of these hobbies that don't really progress us to a goal in life, they still have transferable skills that we can use in everything. It doesn't even matter how simple it might be. Like, let's take a really niche example here. Let's say you're playing Minecraft, right? You got a bunch of shulker boxes and you dye them all different colors to organize your inventory a bit easier, right? Well, the next time you organize your room, that thought's going to pop into your head and you're literally going to organize it a little bit better than you would have if you didn't do that thing on Minecraft. I know this might sound like a bit of copium to some degree, but I genuinely feel like, even though I overconsumed them tremendously, games have taught me so much about how to be efficient with real life tasks. Like, League taught me how to make confident decisions, be competitive, mind games with other players, like how to control my arrogance when I know I'm outmatched because it's not going to work. MMOs like Black Desert Online and Lost Ark, they taught me to find this contentment and this tranquility with grinding because it's pursuing a higher goal in the future. Yeah, sure, right now, maybe it's not the most exciting thing in the world, right? But you know that it's progressing you to something better in the future. And it's capped by time is the main thing. These MMOs love to lock you behind time windows, and that's just like real life, bro. The gym, meditating, mindfulness, these are locked behind time. You can't, even if you go to the gym for 10 hours a day, you're still going to be locked by time. You're not going to get jacked in less than a year, right? And RPGs taught me that even a simple yes to a favor from like a friend can lead you to this whole adventure that you're going to remember for like the rest of your life, bro. It's crazy. There's lessons to be learned everywhere, man. You just got to keep a positive outlook on everything that you do. It's not just study or work life, but any experience in general. It's literally why they call it XP in video games, because the more XP you have, the better you become. That's just facts. So the thought that I accomplished nothing in my 20s is just such a shallow conclusion, because all those mistakes and all that slacking off has rubber banded my mentality to wanting to succeed even harder now, and I know that I'm going to just because I have that behind me. So don't tie your self-worth to these external goals that you set for yourself, bro. Just tie your self-worth to the person that you were yesterday. And if you're a little bit better than you were yesterday, then that's a win in my book. It's been big old Jimbo, brother. And as always, I will see you in the next. Peace.